All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for adding your name and your organization in the group chat. We may get a couple people still hopping on. That's perfectly good for everybody to come and go as they would like to. This meeting will be recorded and posted online. So if you need to jump off, just know that you can go ahead and find this information on our website later today is when we plan to post it. For this meeting, just make sure you go ahead and make sure you're muted just so that we can get through the information that we're sharing today. And then any questions that you have, go ahead and save those till the end. Um, and then we'll be happy to address those as they come to us. So online today, I have a couple of people with me from the city. My name is Reagan Jepson. I will be administering the City of El Mirage Community Partnership Grant process. And then online, we also have Martina and Deputy Niles. So um, we'll be uh, they'll be assisting me with answering some of your questions. I'll go ahead and get started. And if you're still hopping on, just remember to add your name to the chat. So as I was saying, my name is Reagan Jepson, and I'll be overviewing our grant process for today and the El Mirage City Community Partnership program, all the reporting from start to finish. So the goal of the program for the city's community partnership grant is to provide one-time competitive funding to eligible nonprofits that deliver direct health and human services to our El Mirage residents. So on this slide, you'll see the categories shown highlight some common areas of community need, including food access, housing stability, behavioral health, veteran support, youth programs, and other related services. And these categories are meant to guide our applicants, but the program allows for flexibility for other qualifying services aligned with our community's needs. It's also important to remember that all funding depends on the City Council's annual budget approval. So if someone receives funding in one year, it doesn't guarantee funding in future years, and agencies will need to compete for funding annually. Okay. So this slide outlines our grant cycle for fiscal year 2026-2027. And the notice of funding opportunity for this grant was released on April 15th, and our online applications opened that same day at noon. The application window closes on Friday, May 14th at 11:59 p.m., and late submissions will not be accepted. Once the application period closes, city staff will review all of the submissions for eligibility and completeness, and eligible applications will be forwarded to a review committee, which meets in a publicly noticed meeting, and they will evaluate proposals and develop some different advisory funding recommendations. From there, those recommendations will be sent to our city council, and our city council makes the final award decision sometime between May and July. After council approval, applicants will be notified of the award decisions, and funding will be released on or after July 1st, and funded programs will begin implementation during the fiscal year 2026-2027. So we ask that all grant recipients will submit their required reporting and closeout documents before the end of the year. Okay. So what to expect for applicant eligibility? This slide outlines our baseline eligibility requirements for applicants. So to qualify for the program, organizations must have verified nonprofit status, and demonstrate that their programs directly serve our El Mirage residents. Applicants are also required to demonstrate financial capacity, measurable program outcomes, and have the ability to provide timely and accurate reporting. All required documentation must be submitted as part of a complete application, including organizational and financial information, and the eligibility requirements are intended to ensure funded programs are accountable and capable of delivering measurable community impact. This information is also available online at our www.elmirageaz.gov/grants. And as a reminder, if you have any questions, we're going to go ahead and save those for the end, but you're welcome to add those into a chat box in the meantime. Okay, a little bit about funding for fiscal year 2026-2027. Funding for each program year is appropriated annually through our City Council's budgeting process. And for fiscal year 2026-2027, our city estimates 50,000 in available funds pending council approval. All funding will be subject to the annual budget process. And again, funding in one year does not guarantee funding in future years. For the application process, grants are awarded once per year through a competitive process. Eligible nonprofits must apply annually and request a minimum dollar amount for their program or project, including a clear program budget. Each program or project may receive up to $10,000 in one-time funding, and applicants must show how funds will be used within the same fiscal year. No more than 10% of a program budget may be used for administrative expenses. Agencies with multiple programs serving El Mirage residents may submit more than one program for consideration. Award decisions. A structured evaluation and review process conducted by a council-appointed grant review committee is used to develop advisory funding recommendations. The City Council retains full authority to approve, modify, or deny any recommendation. Awards are distributed at the beginning of the fiscal year once the notice of award is signed, and funds must be spent within that same fiscal year. Funding in a previous year does not create an ongoing obligation or guarantee future support. Okay, sorry there. So to access the application, we ask that everybody visit the El Mirage website to open the online application. A QR code is available on this screen as well for convenient access. The forum is hosted in a web-based browser called Cognito Forms, and applicants do not need to create an account or log in as a guest to apply. You can just open the link and begin. To apply, you'll need to answer all questions in the application, including any sections that require short narrative responses. Be sure to upload all required attachments before submitting and complete each field marked with an asterisk, as these fields are mandatory. You have the ability to save your work as you go to avoid losing progress, and please ensure that only one application is submitted for each program or project. Before you submit, it is recommended you review the evaluation scoring rubric before submitting to ensure your application is complete and competitive. Save a copy of your final application for your records, and before you submit, an authorized representative must sign and submit the application form. Incomplete applications are not eligible for review or scoring, And applications that are complete and signed by an authorized representative will also receive 5 points for completeness. Okay. Evaluation scoring rubric. So this slide outlines the evaluation framework for the program. Again, you'll want to refer to this as you're completing the application. So all applications are reviewed using this rubric, which was approved by our City Council. And the rubric evaluates organizational capacity, program design, measurable outcomes, budget, and overall completeness. Each category has a point value to ensure a consistent and transparent review process, and applications can receive up to 120 points. Scores reflect both the completeness of the application and the applicant's ability to clearly describe the program and its impact on residents. So the goal of the criteria is to ensure funded programs are accountable and capable of delivering measurable community benefit. All evaluation criteria is tied to specific sections of the application, and during scoring, reviewers must base their evaluations on adopted criteria, and any scoring adjustments must be tied directly to those criteria. The review committee will consider all evaluation scores to develop its advisory and funding recommendations. And the full rubric is available online in the program materials at the www.elmirageaz.gov/grants for more information. All right. So the review and award process, we've mostly covered. Basically, what this looks like, applications will first be submitted and screened by city staff for eligibility and completeness. So all applications received before that May 14th date at 11:59 will be considered eligible for review by city staff. Eligible applications are then evaluated by the council appointed review committee using the council approved scoring rubric, the mayor appointed review committee. The review committee will consist of 3 members of the city council, and the committee will deliberate in publicly noticed meetings and develop non-binding advisory recommendations. Those recommendations are forwarded to the full city council, and again, the city council retains all authority to approve, modify, and deny awards. Following council approval, a notice of award and all notifications will be sent to applicants, and then funding will be expected to be distributed on or after July 1st, with program implementation beginning within the fiscal year. Again, if you're joining on, go ahead and put your name and organization in the chat. And then if you have questions, you can feel free to add those to the chat box, and we'll address those at the end. For the last slide before questions, I want to go over our recipient responsibilities. So recipients of the El Mirage grant will be all of the following, and will be outlined in the notice of awards that the city issues at the time of funding. So awarded organizations are required to participate in regular check-ins with staff. Those aren't designed to be very cumbersome, just to continue to monitor progress towards stated goals that are submitted in the application. Organizations will be required to submit reports, including an annual closeout report documenting program activities, expenditures, and outcomes. Recipients will need to track and report measurable outcomes and provide supporting documentation upon request. And a reporting template will be provided to all awarded applicants to assist the reporting process. Organizations may be asked to present program results to the City Council at the end of the cycle and acknowledge the city funding support in its public materials. And then continued eligibility for future funding will depend on timely reporting and general satisfactory program performance. So that is the end of this presentation. I'm excited to see so many people joined on and attending. And then just a reminder that this program or this presentation was recorded and will be posted online if you're joining on late. Now, if you have any questions, again, my name is Reagan. I'm the Community Partnership Administrator. You can email me at communityservices@elmirageaz.gov, and I'm open to taking questions now. So let's see if we have any in the chat, or if there's anybody online, go ahead and feel free to share those. I see a question that says, can we get a list of the application questions? I'm going to go ahead and post those questions in the chat so that you can access those. I'm going to go ahead and if you're not muted, you can go ahead and mute yourself. Oh no, okay. I'm going to put an alternative email right here. And thank you for letting me know. We said I received a message that from Rachel with Honor Dance that said, your message to community services at elmirageaz.gov couldn't be delivered. If you do have questions, here is my direct email address, and we will modify the email so that anybody can email us directly at that email address. But there is a temporary email for now. Beth, I'll send you a list of the application questions or the link to the application so you can overview that. There's about 7 pages of application questions, but it's not too time consuming. You'll just need to make sure you have your required documents in order. So everything from your board of directors or your mission statement for your nonprofit. Beth, I see your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Hi, Reagan. I was asking for a list of the questions in advance so that we could work on a draft rather than having to go through the full application process. That's why I asked for the questions.
Understood. I do not have a list of the questions, but I can share the application with you. Or let me see if I can put that together and share with this group that was online today.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes. Let me see, actually, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and maybe this will be helpful. And thank you all for coming online today. This is our first grant process and we're really excited to be launching that this year. I think I can go ahead. I created a test one, so let me go ahead and share that right now so that you can see those on my screen. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and print this and then send this to everybody who was online today. Or if you email me today at rjepson@elmirageaz.gov, I will provide this to you so that you don't have to go through each question to see if you want to submit. Okay. All right.
That's
I
exactly
see
what
applause.
we all need.
Very good. Very good. And thank you all for working with me on that. I'm happy to put that together. Any other questions? I'm glad to see so much interest again. And I'm happy to provide that information to assist you with your review. This is generally what the application looks like. And It's a pretty simple process. Um, they're going to ask you what type of category, health and human services category the program meets. Um, you're going to be asked to provide a narrative description, scope and timeline. Generally, does your program take place in El Mirage? It's not required to take place in El Mirage, it's just required to serve El Mirage residents. There is a 750 word limit for most questions. So just remember, be brief for your review committee. As far as collaboration outreach, we're interested in knowing if you've currently partnered or if you've ever partnered with the city. It's not required by the program. We're interested in knowing how will you market this program to our residents? Um, how will you work with other local partners to maximize the impact? And yes, I just want to highlight our council wants to ensure that this program has impact, and that's how they will be prioritizing our grant applicants and ranking them. Specifically, you'll be asked to provide 3 measurable goals. And they should be smart, specific, SMART goals. You'll be asked to submit your funding request. We do ask for a minimum funding request and then a total funding request. And then we're interested in knowing if this is your first time launching a program or if it's a new or ongoing program. You will be asked to outline, again, the program budget to receive the grant award. And then again, I just want to emphasize 10% of the grant request should be used for administrative costs. Or it shouldn't, only 10% should be used for administrative costs. You'll be asked to explain how the program will be sustained for the continued operation of the program or project. We want to know, okay, if we fund this program this year, will you be able to continue the programming without additional funding? And then the last thing you'll want to submit is your applicant organization's last 2 IRS Form 990 filings. And then again, you'll want that authorized signature. If you don't have that document available, just explain, and you will still be considered for funding. I see a hand raised.
Hello, thank you. I was wondering, has City of El Mirage done this process before, or is this the first year?
This is our first year. This
Yeah.
is the grant program was approved by our city council April 7th. They're very excited to see this program go forward. And so, yes, this is our inaugural year for the grant program.
Perfect. Because my follow-up question was going to be, so in the past, what has been the most important question on the application regarding the committee and or the council reviewing it? But you don't know the answer.
Yeah, and yes, we'll be going through a learning process. We're excited to see how the process goes. We've put this application together. We've worked with several different municipalities to configure what has been successful in other cities. So we're really confident in the application process. In the form, the Cognito forms is the web-based application that's been tried and true. And so, yeah, there's going to be some learning lessons. We're expecting that. But as far as, again, what council will be prioritizing, there's no category that will be prioritized differently by our council. They really are just looking for impact and the ability to um, you know complete a program that is something that our El Mirage residents can rely on for services. And I think that's the best guidance I can give you. Any other questions? I'm just going through the chat again. And I saw Robert said the external or the community services at elmirageaz.gov email will be open to external users shortly. So thank you all for letting me know that that was not working. But we will get that operating shortly. All right. If there are any other questions, feel free to shout them out now and we can answer those now, or you can always offline with me if you have very specific questions. Very good. Thank you all. I will go ahead and post. I'm just brainstorming as we're going through this. I'm going to post the recording. I will also post the sample application online. That seems to be the easiest, just so you have that available. And you don't need to email me directly. So thank you all for your helpful feedback. You guys are awesome, and I'm glad that you were able to hop on today. Great. Thank you.